Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Professor Jena is there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, nice. Happy to see you, Jena. And I
Thank you, sir.
is the
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Very good afternoon, and glad to see your faces after time. Good.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Hello, Dr. Reddy.
Thank you, sir. Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
So happy to see you after a long time.
Yes, quite some time.
Yes.
Since you last, where in the conference I met you?
Yeah.
That India Water Week.
Yes, sir. India Water Week. Yeah.
Sir, with the due permission of the chairman, I would like to just initiate the session.
Sure, welcome.
Yes, sir. This session, there are 7 invited lectures and 1 oral presentation.
Yeah.
So this session will continue up to 16:20. So I request you, sir, to kindly conduct in such a manner so that we can complete in time.
We are starting late.
Yes, a little bit late. The previous session was there, so we could not. There was a little bit delay.
No problem.
On behalf of the organizers, I want to welcome the chairman, Dr. N.K. Tyagi. He is an independent consultant, land, water, environment. Previously, he was director of Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Karnal, and a member of ASRB, New Delhi. So he has many awards to his credit, and he is also the fellow of different societies. So then as a co-chairman, we have Professor K. Yella Reddy. He is the Dean from the Faculty of Agriculture, Engineering and Technology of Angrao Agriculture University, Andhra Pradesh. He has more than 35 years experiences in teaching, research, project management and administration. And he is also the Vice President of ICISD at the New Delhi office. So I welcome you, sir. Then we have rapporteur Dr. S.K. Jena. He is Principal Scientist in the Discipline of Soil and Water Conservation Engineering at ICR Indian Institute of Water Management, Bhubaneswar, and also the coordinator of Agri Consortia Research Platform on Water. I welcome you, sir, to this session. Now I hand over the session to Chairman, sir, for the proceedings. Sir, please.
So I have to unmute. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
can
sir.
hear you, sir.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I have been associated with ISCAR for quite a long time. And today I feel very proud that our ISCAR is organizing a conference of this level. Therefore, yesterday I talked to Dr. Sen and I mentioned that this is not a normal conference. This looks like a congress. So this is a ISCAR Congress. When as was announced, we have 7 speakers and 1 oral presentation. Our job, my job, and Dr. Yella Reddy's job, of course, he is also a speaker, is Ghanti Bajao. So, though the time listed here is 20 minutes, but each speaker is to get around 15 minutes. Another, say, 5-10 minutes for discussion, and sometime my co-chairman and I will need about 5 minutes to wrap up the session. I would say that this is one of the very important sessions because this deals with water use trends, sources, availabilities, integrated strategies for irrigation and drainage. It is irrigation that makes the difference between low productivity and high productivity. So from that consideration, I think this is one of the very important session, which will give some sort of recommendations for, you can say, overcoming the poverty, overcoming the environmental constraints in coastal areas. You very well know, coastal areas, they are sandwiched between land and sea. So both are affecting them, the coastal areas. And as a sandwiched location, it has its own problem. I propose like this. We are two persons who are controlling the time. So for the first 4, I'll do this job, and for the next 4, Dr. Reddy will arrange. At the end of the session, we'll just have for 2.5 minutes each. So our first speaker is also the co-chairman, and Dr. Reddy has already been introduced. He is an old partner, colleague in our salinity program at Karnal, and later on he has headed the Valamtari, one of the very famous water and land management institute. Today he is speaking on adaptive measures in water management for higher water productivity and increased efficiency. So there is both productivity and efficiency being the topic. Let's see, Dr. Reddy, what you have to add to our knowledge. Thank you. Start, mic is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Garu. It's very pleasure to meet you and other panelists here, and also Marcos from Italy, okay, whom especially we invited. I thank you, Marcos, for joining us and other friends there. And as Chairman Garu said, we are having a shortage of time. I will just take 15 minutes. In fact, this is I will be just talking a little about adaptive measures, about where we stand in respect of water, and what measures we have to take based on my experiences. I would like to share my screen. Are you able to see the screen, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Just a few points I would like to highlight. When we are talking about productivity of efficiencies, particularly to meet the food requirement, the water is so important everywhere, and how much water we are spending, and the demands for water increasing everywhere, because we need to produce more food, particularly Indian context. We have more targets to meet the ever-growing population demands. There is more pressure on water, and that is the reason why we have to improve the productivity and also improve the efficiency of water. Because when we estimate, even the FAO estimates have shown that how much water is required in future to meet the food production world across. But the ground reality is that many countries does not have that much water to allocate for the food requirement in future. So there comes the necessity to improve the productivity with less water. So that is again a requirement particularly for Indian context. And when we look into this one, amount of water available and land, in particularly in our scenario, there is more pressure on land and water to support the 18% world population living here, with 4% of water and 2.5% of land. One side, our groundwater depletion is taking place, and more water is being taken to the cities, and less amount of water is going to be available for agriculture. That's a real scenario. And per capita availability of water requirement, as per the UN estimates, India is already in water stress scenario, because our availability, per capita availability, is less than what is the global requirement as per the UN estimate. So we are standing low now. Because we need about 1700 cubic meters per person per year. It is decreasing year after year. So the ground reality is going to be very harsh in future, and already there is water scarcity in many places. Now the food requirement also present from 300 million tons. By 2050, it has to go to 450 million tons. And also now we have target to improve the water efficiency across all the sectors by 20%. Wherever we stand today, that going to be increased by 20%. This is the reality under which we have to work. I have some experiences at different places. As Chairman Garu was telling, I worked with Valamtari, then I worked with AP Water Management Project in the university, and AP Micro Irrigation Project, one of the biggest projects in the world. And then at Valamtari, we also conducted some studies on water efficiency of the irrigation projects. I will be just taking few points from my experiences to share with you. In fact, for India at a national level, we have the guidelines provided by the Central Water Commission. What should be the water efficiency in any irrigation project? If a project is built, it is expected to deliver overall water efficiency of 60 to 65%. That's how it is basically designed and executed. But in ground reality, when we are implementing the projects year after year, because of there are many reasons, okay, and the efficiencies are going down, or sometimes we are not executing or implementing as per the designed plans. Now, when we evaluated 30 irrigation projects in Andhra Pradesh combined state, we found the average efficiency is 40%, where it could be 60 to 65%. Why it happens? You can see the left side figures. We submerge, we inundate the entire land, and there won't be proper plantation. Sometimes plants won't grow. We create swimming pools sometimes. The land is not leveled. So these are some ground realities which we need to address to improve the efficiency productivity. And based on the studies, we found that there are many damaged structures in the command areas, even the project network, canal network, silting in the canals, poor maintenance, weed growth, seepage in the system, over irrigation, untrained farmers, changing the cropping pattern than the designed one. These are some of the reasons for the lower efficiency in our irrigation systems. So there are many ways how can we improve that one. Okay, based on our studies, we suggested a number of initiatives which government can take to improve the efficiency. Out of that, one is asset management plan, because we create asset that is not properly managed. This particular figure will tell how the water travel from the source to the point of application. It moves from the reservoir or major canal network. From it comes to the main canal, branch, distributary, minor, field channel, and finally it goes to the field plots. When it is traveling from this to this, there will be losses of water at different components. Main canal, these arrows downside pointing, they shows the losses, and as you travel towards the field, the thickness of arrow increasing. It tells the maximum loss of water happens in the your minor canals, field channels, and the field plots at an on-farm level. So there we need to put more effort. But largely what happens when any project modernization takes place, we spend a lot of money in the mains and branches, not on the on-farm management, because here more people will be there. We have to connect that. Participatory management is required to improve the efficiency. So this is one thing which can give us the idea. And in order to achieve improvement, we have the clear water policy. Government of India has defined a policy, and it's almost every decade it is revived. This is the latest policy, which tells about even to take the climate change also in consideration for managing the water. And we have some experience about that climate adapter project we did. And the priority we know pretty well, it is the domestic water first, then comes only your irrigation. So in India, that is the scenario. And then comes the power industry, other sectors. But now important thing is the demand management. So let us make the water delivered to meet the demand. Is from the supply driven, we have to make the demand driven. In order to make the demand driven, there are different things now the national water policy embedded, talking about water footprints, virtual water, reuse and recycle of water, incentivizing economic use and adaptation to water saving, performance monitoring, reclamation, like our Chairman Garu got a lot of experience, expertise in all these areas. So these are certain things which we have to introduce. One is incentivizing economic use. This approach can make the significant change in the attitudes of the people in improving the water efficiency. So in order to do that, we need to have the total channel control systems, okay, where based on the intent given by the group of farmers or individual farmers, the water can be delivered. So for that, we need to equip our department officials and also farmers organizations how to manage the demand management systems. One study what we made on the adaptation to climate change, a climate adapt project funded by the Norwegian government with many collaborators, including IMI, MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, Agriculture University, Voluntary we worked. And there, okay, some distributors we selected, we implemented, we executed all innovative things and what that can go to the field involving the farmers. We could make some change in the improving the capacity of the farmers and also improving the productivity, water efficiency. When we go to the villages, they need to be trained first. They need to be empowered with the knowledge. For that, village knowledge centers have been established where all our developments can be shared and the farmers can be trained on different things what we want to implement and also some facility for them. So with the help of the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation, village knowledge centers have been established in our project areas in Krishna Basin, where we did. And one important point is that water measurement is important component that many times it is absent in many projects. We try to educate farmers through conducting water schools and train them how to measure water with the flumes available today. Even for a fraction of your CUSEC, we can have even 5 liters per second to 10 liters per second to even 500 cubic meters per second. We can measure with the beautiful flumes, RBC flumes available. And one important thing to appreciate the value of the water, we have to understand what is the value of the water. We have to train the people. I'm very happy to tell this year World Water Day, March 22nd, the theme for World Water Day is valuing water. So this is important point for us. When we charge 1 paisa liter, it costs about 1,20,000 rupees to raise paddy in 1 hectare, 48,000 rupees to irrigate paddy in 1 acre, just 1 paisa liter. So that's what we have to take it to the farmers through voluntary. Wherever we work, we try to train, and the people have been trained on the value of the water. Value first, you know the value, so then you start not to waste. You start appreciating its use. So what the measures? So I won't go much into this one because you know pretty well how to value. And then water saving production technologies. Paddy doesn't need standing of water. So today because in India we grow a lot of paddy, spending a lot of water, and the average per kg of paddy it takes 3,000 liters of water virtually across the globe. But in India today, in some projects we are spending 5,000 liters. But today we have technologies where farmers grow paddy, or even with less than 1,500 liters per kg of rice. So alternate wetting and drying, directed seeded rice, semi-dry, rotational irrigation, SRI method, like the many methods are there where we can increase the water efficiency and also improve the productivity. So in order to manage water in the paddy fields, some measures we can take. So like inserting a Bowman tube and measuring what is the water depth in the field. You irrigate when water complete disappears on the surface, still there will be water in the root zone. So the water is available to the plant through capillary. So if we adapt this much alternate wetting and drying tubes, we can use like this. We can simply save 30 to 40% water. In many places it is possible. So for that measurement is required with water meters and flumes in the fields. And you can use the sensors for sensing the depth of water. And these are certain initiatives we have taken to help the farmers when to irrigate. So when we did it, it made big change in the project area. And also when we take water in the canals, it should be bifurcated and the junction boxes are required. Some gates are required many times. In absence of that we work, that's why water is being wasted. The small lining in the canals is also important. The field channels. Okay, we did quite good work in AP1 project, and with even a tank full with 3/4 level, we could able to irrigate entire area where it was not possible earlier because of a lot of leakages. This is water productivity. You can see that when we're going for the normal method, what is the yield and what is the water requirement for kg. And when we are going for alternate wetting and drying, the yield has increased and per kg the water requirement decreased. So this is how we can make significant improvement in saving of water. And today, micro irrigation, one big area in the country, India is almost leading the world in terms of drip irrigation area with China competing. And it is a lot of farmers got the advantage of the mechanization of water management in the fields through drip irrigation. So we can convert the fields from slushy to this very pleasant condition to work, and that will improve. And India has about 70 million hectares of area, almost 50% of irrigated area can be put under micro irrigation. That is the estimation we have. And a lot of systems are available today, okay, for raising nurseries. Some farmers today, they are going for all the crops, even groundnut with the drip, people are growing in some of the districts of Andhra Pradesh. And we have also improved some design of the sprinkler systems from the portable to make it semi-permanent, where only riser pipes can be seen. Those difficulties can be overcome. So these designs are now available, made at all India level. And these poor farmers today who have less than even 1 acre, they own the drip systems in many parts of the country. That is the when we are working as a partners in a project mode, we can help the poor farmers also. That's what we could be able to do in AP Micro Irrigation Project. And we covered in 10 years time more than 1 million hectares. Initially it was 0.25 million hectares in 5 years, but 10 years we made more than 1 million hectares. By the time state was separated out, and we have seen economically how it was beneficial, and we presented to the government the micro irrigation expenditure is not it should not be seen as expenditure, it's an investment. Okay, that's how it helps. And we also made the designs to take canal water to the fields and convert that into the micro irrigation. And we did a lot of we have voluntary like institutions in the country, 14, now 7 more are coming up. So they have mandate to provide all this support. And involving the farmers, capacity building is a regular practice. But one thing now we can shift to this approach to take it to the trainings to the school children on water management. Having some syllabus at the school level will make them understand its importance. Tomorrow, they will be our future. They will make all the things possible for us, required for us. At Valamtari, we trained thousands of school children, and capacity building we made. And ICID, my friend Dr. Marcos is there. And we have a pride in training young professionals across the globe. And they are our future. That's why ICID provides fellowships to them to attend these young professional training workshops across the globe. And these things, whatever we are doing at different countries, different institution level, we are sharing with them. So finally, came close to that one. Last slide, as the chairman said, in 15 minutes. What is these are the things what we have to take it forward. Okay, we have to appreciate the value of water, and water measurement is to be made compulsory everywhere. Let us plan for demand-based water delivery. The virtual water approach, water footprints, they are going to be more common in future. So we have to adapt to virtual water approach. Saving this one, transferring the credits to the farmers also possible. Incentivizing water efficiency. Today, that's why whenever people are saving water, so they should get water credits. That is one approach we can also think of at the Government of India level. We are working on some points. Asset management is important. We create the infrastructure. Management is sometimes forgotten. Participatory approach is there, and respecting agriculture. So finally, because it is our requirement, Mahatma Gandhi has said, food insecurity and hunger, how important it is. There are people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. It is our moral responsibility to eradicate this hunger from the world and make the food available. If India is producing more food today, so we can supply that to the other countries where it is required. So with this, I thank you, Chairman, and all the members.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy. You have covered a lot on us. And I'm aware of the fact that Andhra leads in micro irrigation. I have 2 questions, and then the others can follow me in questioning on your presentation. One is the recent report by Chair Sperry. It indicates that large-scale introduction of micro irrigation saves water only locally, but there is no saving so far as the basin level is concerned. as a matter of fact, it leads to more water consumption rather than any overall saving, because when the good facilities are there, when the technology improves, the farmer also extends his area. So this is one issue. So second is value of water. Value, cost, price, and value, these are three different things. Value is location dependent, degree of scarcity dependent. So how do we assign value? These are the two issues that I put before you.
So very two important points you raised, Chairman Garu. First, you said water saving in through micro irrigation is an issue.
13 countries report says that overall, when you see at the basin level, there is no saving.
Yeah, because this is the technology. It's not only saving water. The micro irrigation is not just for saving water. It also improves the productivity.
Yeah.
Okay, because we are delivering water as per the requirement of the crop. It's water requirement we are meeting day to day. So it improves the productivity and also it reduces labor. A lot of other advantages are there. When it comes to water saving alone, I have seen practically around Hyderabad, the farmers, they used to grow a lot of paddy.
Yeah.
Okay, they grow because they grow paddy and a lot of land was available, but they are not growing. But when we trained them, instead of raising paddy in 1 acre, you can grow vegetables in 3 acres. So the same amount of water, they started using with the drip system, growing vegetables and making good money. And those things were available to the market. Okay. So instead of, because India, we have the delta areas where only paddy can be grown. Okay. We have a Krishna basin, Godavari basin. Some amount of change we could make and changing the diversification, going for the commercial crops. As you said, you are not saving water because the farmer, when he has a bore well, he tried to pump all the water possible and he tried to irrigate. He won't save in the basin because for him, okay, you know, also in India, if the bore well is there, that belongs to that farmer, that owner. So that way, those things are happening. But in a big project like this, now when we are taking that command micro irrigation to the command areas, Government of India guidelines today says 20% of
the time is limited.
yeah. So I am not going to that. Second, you said is valuing the water. No, in order to appreciate its efficient management, one has to understand what is the value of water. As long as you think it is a free commodity, importance is lost. I just took an example to the farmer. Farmer, how much you are paying to irrigate paddy 1 acre? The farmer says, I am paying 200 rupees. Then I asked, can you pay 1 paise a liter? He said, I can pay. But when we worked out, it is coming 48,000 rupees per acre for towards only water cost. So when this creates awareness, that's how. And one more thing, in future, instead of supplying 120 centimeter, if the farmer grows paddy in 100 centimeter, this 20 centimeter saving can be converted into the water credits. So there comes monetary benefit. So we can go into the details.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman.
We have our next speaker, Dr. Marcos Arcileri. He is a PhD in crop systems and forestry and environment. He works as a technical officer in the Ministry of Environment. His specialization in water sources management, and he is vice president of the ICID and secretary general of his own Italian committee on ICID. So we have, and I had the occasion to visit several times, but I did not go to his island. It was only Bari and Milan that I was there. But Southern Italy is just as Andhra Pradesh is leading in micro irrigation. Southern Italy, they, because of the rolling topography, they have a lot.
Yes.
But this particular area from where he comes is water rich location, lot of forest and lot of water.
Yes, yes.
Okay, this afternoon he speaks on water sources and irrigation management in Southern Italy coastal ecosystem, the what we call Basilicata region. So,
Yes.
Dr. Marco, the floor is yours. 15 minutes.
Yes, okay. I will start at 10 o'clock, so I have 15 minutes. First of all, let me thank you Iska, and all of you for inviting me to this very interesting conference, especially Professor Yelaredi. He's a very good friend, very close friend, as you are, of course. And I'm very honored to have the chance to showcase some of the features of what happens on coastal agriculture in southern Italy. So if I may, I will try to share my screen so that you can see. Okay, now I will start my presentation. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, very good. So, southern Italy, in particular, Basilicata region is characterized by Mediterranean climate. This is Basilicata region, so, and this is what the coastal agriculture landscape looks like. It's in the south of Italy, and it has characterized by particular orography such that 47%, about 47% is made on mountains in the region, another 45% is made by hills, and only 8% is represented by plains, which are the most important plain is the Metaponto area, which unfolds along the Ionian coast. Of course, there are some more alluvial plains extending along the courses of the river and the main streams, as you can see here in this orographic picture. So this is the Metaponto plain we will talk about this afternoon. But of course, irrigation and intensive agriculture is also extended along the pathway of the five main rivers of the sea. We have dams, we have main storage reservoirs, and weirs. Now, agriculture is very important for this region. As I was saying, in the flat areas and in the inner valleys, we have vegetables and fruits. In the inland hills, we have olive trees, we have vines, we have durum wheat, barley, and oats are cultivated. Also, animal breeding is also widespread, such as beef and dairy cattle, especially along the river valleys and the plain areas, along, of course, with sheep and goat breeding, especially in the inland areas. Of course, intensive cultivation of high-income cash crops in India is the most important sector with the highest added value in the region. The coastal plain of Metaponto I was talking to you about is, of course, scattered with intensive peach, apricot orchards, actinidia, orange, clementina groves, and so on. But of course, we also have intensive high cash crops such as strawberries, lettuces, tomatoes, artichokes, cabbages, and many others. All this production, this intensive agriculture, of course, requires irrigation because rainfall and temperature and evapotranspiration regime of this area in particular, is such that we could not get any yield without water. As you can see, annual rainfall is ranging between 400 and 600 millimeters per year, whereas temperatures, this is the average temperature in July, can way past 30 degrees especially in the hottest month of the year. So let's have a very quick look at what are the main features and the main problems of this coastal area where intensive high cash agriculture is practiced. This is an alluvial plain. It's formed by gradation of the rivers that come to the sea and of course minor waterways mouths flowing into this Ionian Sea. Of course, it is a complex physical context where the concomitant morphogenetic action of sea and rivers takes place. It is a very significant and interesting area. We could say it's a unique in southern Italy because it ensembles environmental, archaeological areas, interest. Just for a very quick description, this is the area where the famous mathematic Pythagoras was having his lessons in this very area, and of course economic interest because many industrial and craftsmanship settlements are in this area. Intensive agriculture, this is a strawberry orchard, and tourism as well. A lot of tourism. There is a lot of tourism, many touristic sites, many hotels, many places where people gather with the families, especially during the summer. So as you can imagine, it is a very unique area where all of this pressure gather together. That is agriculture, that is tourism, that is, of course, archaeological sites. So very unique and very interesting area to consider. Of course, this area in time has been given a lot of attention in order to provide water resources. So as you can see, the network of irrigation systems and pipelines and network is very, very dense, very thick. There's a lot of, all the network is based on water which is accumulated in dams and reservoirs. There's a very complex system. All the system is interconnected, as you can see. And we also provide water. This region, which is my region, also provides water to bordering regions such as Apulia, where Bari is, and Calabria in the south. So we have a very complex system that is monitored since the very beginning of the creation of the structures such as the dams. For instance, I can show you here, this is an example of the monitoring system we have for the Pertusillo Dam, which you can see here. This is the reservoir. This is a concrete dam. It's a multi-purpose construction. And every day, the monitoring system gets information for the level of water that is stored inside the reservoir. So this allows to make prediction. This allows to have statistical analysis and studies, especially for the future, of course. As you can see here, this is the annual fluctuation of water inside the reservoir. The same for another big reservoir. This is another reservoir. This is a dam that has been created, and it's a very particular one. This is an earth-fill dam. It's one of the biggest in Europe, actually. And again, as you can see, there is a monitoring system which provides information, daily information for the level of water that is accumulated and stored inside. Of course, we have some problems. There are these complex systems of dams, and the management of the system might create some problems, such as the reduction of the reservoir storage capacity because of accumulation of sediments. So this reduces the control, of course, capacity of control of the water flow. We can have sometimes, we have had breaking of hydraulic structures of the bottom drains because sediments accumulate, for instance, close to the bottom outlet. We can have, sometimes we have had increased risk of flooding, such that the water is getting to the roads, to the highways, and some of the cities along the coast have been flooded, some from time to time. And of course, this is the most important problem. All this system has created a reduction of the solid material transportation towards the coast. So we have a major problem, which is how to manage, of course, this complex system without bringing any consequences, negative consequences to the coastal system. So some techniques have been used, such as creation of, apart from forestry and shrubs cover, but also creation of structures which are integrated inside on the hills and on the slopes of the basins of the rivers. Some structures such as diversion dams, small barrages. These are very effective, though, only for the heaviest material. Of course, the sediments, the finest sediments, are not kept by means of these techniques. So problems, which are the main problems to the coast, for the coastal agriculture and to the coastal system. We have, of course, retreat of the coastline because we have a reduced transportation of silt and sediments. We have erosion, very serious problem with erosion of large areas of beach and of dune banks. We have disruption, sometimes total disruption of urban coastal system. As you can see, this is a soccer field. For instance, you can see the effect of the waves. We have floodings, as I said before. Of course, there's also some natural. This is not only due to man activity. We also have some environmental factors such as the reduction of rainfall, increasing temperatures, reduction of solid transport capacity of the watersheds, variations in the regime of wave motion and sea currents, which sometimes create a movement and transport of the sediments off the shore. And of course, the global, the big problem of warming, of climate change, so that the ice cap is melting and the sea level is rising. Anthropic factors, as I said before, reduction of solid transportation due to the construction of reservoirs. This is the Puerto Silo Dam, the concrete dam, of weirs. This is the Ganano weir. And of course, realization of soil protection walls inside the river basins. But another important aspect, which is very well considered and should be considered much more, is the removal of sediments, of aggregates and alluvial material from the river basins, which is sometimes it is kind of unregulated. So this is another very important feature for the proper management of the basins of the coast. Now you can see here, and now this is very interesting, an average variation of the shoreline starting from 1949 until 2006. So you can see in time, the blue line is the period considered between 1949 and 61, the green one in 61 and 97, the red one 97 to 2006, and the dotted black line is 1949 to 2006. So that's the overall, the global period. As you can see at the start from 1949 to 1961, when only one dam on the Bradano River has been built in 1955, we could say that the coastal line somehow is having its normal evolution. I mean, this is quite a normal evolution for the coastal line. Whereas, on the other hand, after that, other dams, such as the Puerto Silo Dam in 1962 and the Camastra Dam on the Basento River, which is these are the rivers of the Basento River in 1970, and especially the Earthfield Dam of Monte Cotugno in 1984, it started operating. You can see the negative effect in terms of retreat of the coastal line, minus 200 meters after, as you can see here, if we consider the green line, that is from 1961 to 1997, you can see the effect that these dams, the building of these dams, and the operation of these dams has been creating in time. And these are the data that I was telling you about. These are the numbers for the three major rivers. That is the shift that has been happening, that has been occurring in time. One of the most extraordinary one is the 200 meters I was telling you about for the Monte Cotugno Dam. So this is why in 2001, Italian government and regional governments came up with the institution of the Interregional River Basin Authorities. That is an authority that is overwatching and controlling and monitoring each and every single basin of the rivers that are bringing water to the Ionian Sea. So each basin, you can see here some features, is monitored, has a particular extension. So we also have regular inspections along the river course, on the structures, on the weirs, and everything else that is inside the basin. So every basin, the Bradano River, the Basento River, I will just skip and go through just to let you have an idea. So every basin is taken into account, in a singular manner, but with a holistic approach of the whole system. That is in order to protect the coastal systems, which is a very complex system, as I was saying before, because we have many activities along the coast. And in 2015, and the years later, Italian government received the directive, EU Directive 2060, and so we created. Yes, so we created the hydrographic district of southern Italy, Apennines. So, going to conclusion, how to prevent coastal erosion? There are two basic approaches. Soft intervention, which is provided by means of artificial nourishment with granular material. The material is moved to the ground and distributed by the waves along the balance profile. And we can have rigid interventions such as works parallel to the shoreline, they are perpendicular to the coast, such as jetties, or we can have works parallel and adherent to the shore, that is grazing, or T-shaped defensive systems and combinations. Anyway, what is important to say is that this kind of defense intervention must be conceived and developed in order to contemplate indirect effects which affect resilience of the beaches and direct effects caused by coastal erosion and climate change. Conclusion. Coastal agriculture, in our approach, must be thought of inside a holistic version, which includes sustainable and economic development, as well as environment protection criteria, such as I was saying, conservation of beach and prevention of coastal erosion, which are the backbone of an effective defense strategy in order to reduce risk of floods. Soil erosion and soil transportation processes, which are very much linked to human activities, such as the building of dams and weirs and variation in land use, are the main sources of sediments accumulation inside the reservoir. But, on the other hand, by means of forests and shrubs cover, we can have soil protection, reduce erosion, and especially landslides and surges. So to decrease water velocity and so solid transportation within the basin. The idea is to have a sound balanced action over the hydrogeological cycle inside the basins and overall to protect the coastal system. So with this, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Showing beautiful slides from Italy. And also pointing out to a very serious problem, soil erosion in coastal areas. We have similar problems. Dams have been constructed, so no more sediment in the delta, and we have a lot of problem with sand mining in upstream areas.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for our speaker from Italy? Anyone? No? I would like to know, trying to follow your slides, what is the degree of sedimentation which is prevented from joining the coastal areas?
Yes.
You have constructed a lot of dams.
Yes,
and
yes.
naturally, when you construct them, the sediments are left behind.
Well,
so Italy must be losing a lot of area because you have long coastline.
Yes, exactly. Yes, as I said, as I was showing, we are facing now, since many of these dams have been built, like in Italy, starting from the 60s and the 70s. Now we have two main problems. The first problem is the accumulation of sediments inside the reservoir, which is reducing the water capacity. So we are losing a lot of water. And this is also increasing the risk of flooding, because sometimes when we have extreme events, we are not able to regulate the huge amount of water which is coming. So we are trying to find solutions to remove the sediments, use them for agricultural purposes, because this is excellent material for agricultural purposes. But it's very costly. So we are very much involved in developing new techniques that are less costly effective. The increase is such that I can tell you this, for instance, in one of the dams that has been built in 1970, as of now, as of 2020, out of a total volume of 30 million, more than 30 million cubic meters, which are kept potentially inside the reservoir, 8 million of cubic meters are stored, filled with sediments. So we have almost, we could say 8 out of 30 is like 25%, something like that, I believe 30% of the total volume. So this is the rate of increase of the sediments accumulation over a span of like 50 years, something like that. So, and of course, we have the major problems of avoiding the retreat of the coast, because the coast, as you have seen, is not only intensive agriculture. We have tourism, we have archaeological sites, we have productive sites, we have factories. of course, not polluting factories, but very interesting factories for local craftsmanship. So it's very difficult to balance. We have to find. We are trying. We are still struggling now because this is a very recent approach in the past 20 years. So we are trying to find a balance. It's very difficult to find a balance between the two.
Okay, just for the information of the audience, Italy, for that matter, Bari is placed in southern Italy. That is the laboratory for whole of Europe, because they don't, in the Western Europe, they don't have that sort of climate where they could conduct research on salinity. So Bari, they have only 2-hectare farm, and all sorts of research is being done on that farm. Whether it is physiologist, drainage engineer, or everybody is concentrating on that 2-hectare farm in Bari.
Yes.
Nice presentation.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We have now our third speaker, Dr. S.K. Jana. And as you already know, Jana is a principal scientist at Indian Water Management Institute, Bhubaneswar. And he has the consortia research platform for water in the state. He is one individual who has introduced a new technology in the country in the form of rubber dams. A few years back, I had opportunity to visit that site, and I was quite impressed with that. He is a very, you can say, decorated scientist, receiving a lot of awards like DSP, the Best Paper Award, and then Jawaharlal Nehru Award, Team Award of the ICR, Vasant Nayak Award. So he is a highly, you can say, decorated scientist in the council. This afternoon, he speaks on water sources and irrigation management, use of geoinformatics for drainage planning in Eastern Coast. So he's our man from Eastern Coast. The next speaker is from West Coast. Dr. Jana, please.
Thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. And I think good morning to our Italian friend. It is, I think, 11 o'clock there, I think. Sir, I am sharing my screen.
Time is 15 minutes. Yes, please.
Sir, is it full screen now?
It's fine, Jana. Go ahead.
Sir, actually, so here, sir, in this study, actually, we have taken a work in the eastern coast of India in the Mahanadi Delta. I will be telling why this is very important. Actually, we have almost 11.2 million hectare waterlogged area. Out of that, 6.41 million hectare are degraded. And out of that, 1.66 million hectare is mainly wasteland due to surface funding, which is happening in our part of the country. And then rest area of 4.75 million hectare is under subsurface waterlogging. Why this is happening in Eastern India? Because high intensity of rainfall combined with saucer-shaped physiography. A distance of 30-40 kilometers away from Bay of Bengal is almost flat. It is varies between maybe 0 to 10 meter from mean sea level. And then we have high intensity rainfall also. So this is a mostly coastal area in deltaic alluvial plain. So this is all causing the water congestion in the coastal area, and the most of part has been converted to wasteland. So this is the actually picture of Mahanadi Delta. Here the typical situation is we have a 200-kilometer coastline from Chilika Lake to Dhamra Port that is under Mahanadi Delta. And it is around 9,500 square kilometer and 7% of state's geographical area. But you'll be astonished to know 1/3 of the whole state's population lives in that area, and 68% of those are farmers or depends upon farming. Though we have excess water, but that excess water instead of causing good is causing bad. So actually we have taken the area around 1,200 square kilometer. that is between the two rivers in the Mahanadi Delta. One is Daya River and another is Bhargavi. And in a 1983 flood, actually one new river was got generated from a point from the river Bhargavi, and it was joining to Bay of Bengal by the shortest way. So the studies actually was taken with these 4 objectives, like assessment of water bodies, including land use and land cover, and estimation of existing drainage parameters of that particular area, then estimation of drainage coefficient and drainage planning, and to develop cropping pattern, cropping sequence, and contingency crop plan. So there are 3 aspects. Using geoinformatics, we could find out the topography, the land use, land cover, and then we analyzed 40 years of historical rainfall data for finding out drainage coefficient, and then we have developed one contingency planning which is suitable for that area. So this is the actually exhaustive land use and land cover together prepared for the whole that area, and it has been divided into 25 classes, though we restrict it to very limited number of classes like 6, 7. But here intentionally we have kept so that it will help us in planning. Like even we have identified the area where only Kharif crop is found out. Like only 8% is Kharif crop, whereas Rabi crop area is very high. This is because during Kharif season, so much of water is there, people are unable to take any crop. It remains vacant or remain fallow, and then during Rabi season or only after the monsoon is over, people can take paddy crop in 25% of area. So these are the all classification of different classes, like only Kharif, only Rabi, the area crop for 2 seasons, then area under summer crop and all those things. These are the actually drainage parameters of that particular area. Total geographical area is 1266 square kilometer, and existing stream length are 297 kilometer. Drainage density is only 0.23, and the constant of channel maintenance is 4.26 kilometer. Circulatory ratio is 0.46. Relief is only 20 meter in a distance of around say 80 kilometer, and the ruggedness number is very low, 0.0047. So the whole area remains congested with water during the monsoon season. So these are all the inputs and outputs which are being used in the study. This is the FCC of that particular area, and the image has been taken in the monsoon season in the September, and you will find the output on the right side that all those blue patches are the area which are waterlogged. On a particular day like 30th September, immediately after 16 days, you will find the area has been reduced by say 100 square kilometer or so. And the left side, you will find the digital elevation model, and you will find the total, as I have seen, the relief is only 20 meter. So it is almost flat, and I will show you that slope is almost 0.1% or so. So all the these informations, and then we analyze the 40 years historical rainfall data from 1976 to 2015 for that particular area. So for different return periods, we could find out what are the amount of water to be removed from a particular area. These are the and for 5-year and 10-year return period, and for a 5 days or 6 days duration, we have to remove at the rate of 49 millimeter per day or 42 millimeter per day. Water is to be removed if we really want to make the drainage possible. But because of the topography, it is not possible to remove all the water. So we tried to find out where are the locations where we can either it can be desilted or we can excavate new channels, drainage channels, so that the water can be removed from the whole area and pass to the Bay of Bengal. So these are the different, these blue colored lines are the different locations of our new drainage lines, or maybe we have to remove the silt. So this shows the lateral of the origin of the river, and then length of the area, and then what is the elevation difference between the starting point of the drainage and end point. You'll find there is not enough fall, so it is not possible also to remove the all the silts or maybe go for so many drainage channels. So for enhancing drainage density of that particular area, we may go for, we have given a plan for string length should be desilted or excavated of the order of 180. So previously it was 297 kilometer, and if another 180 kilometer drainage can be excavated, small drainage, then the drainage density will increase from 0.34, will be increased to 0.34 from 0.23. Still, it is insufficient, but majority of the water can be removed, and we will able to reclaim so much of area for crop during Kharif season. And the slope in different stream varies very low, 0.006, almost flat to 0.1% highest, and the removal of all excess water is not possible. So we took some hydrological similar unit of 400 square kilometer, 4 square kilometer area for a 10-year return period, and we'll find out a design of the different drainage possibility. So considering the drainage coefficient is 48 millimeter per day, and this Manning's roughness coefficient 0.04 and slope of 0.1%. The design dimensions was the bottom width should be more than 1.65 meter, depth should be more than 2 meter, and side slope should be 1:1 or flatter. So this is just for one area, but it has been developed for all type of channels. So one of the output we get from that analysis that there are so many inland water bodies. Some are natural and some are man-made. Some are depressions which are filled with water during the Kharif season. But once the Kharif season is over, no water is available. So the area you see out of 1200 square kilometer, almost 125 square kilometer was there, either on depression or water bodies were there. So removal of silt and weeds from water bodies of 125 square kilometer for enhancing the storage capacity of the pond. This will help in improving the drainage congestion in that particular area. All those green patches are the areas which are either natural depressions or man-made. Those needs to be desilted. Similarly, after this implementation, this red patches have been proposed for rice during, which was previously less, but now it has been enhanced up to 321 square kilometer. And similarly, there are some areas where water is available almost throughout the year. So that area proposed is around 42 square kilometer, because a large patch very adjacent to the Chilka Lake is available where we can go for aquaculture. So where excess water is there, we have to live with that because we cannot remove all the water for agriculture. So these blue patches are depicting the area where we can go for the aquaculture. So these are actually the table developed like expected yield loss in paddy due to submergence and waterlogging after different days of sowing, and transplanting and contingency measures in Bhargavi Daya Doab. These are the 12 varieties which are being generally taken in those areas, and then what are different areas covered under those crops, and then duration of these crops, and then we have that how much yield loss will be there. It will vary between 15% to 35% or 40% sometimes in some crops, depending upon when the submergence happens, whether it is 15 days after the transplanting, or 30 days after transplanting, or 45 days after transplanting, or 2 months after transplanting. So accordingly, the losses will be there. And these are the list of contingency measures, and those list of contingency measures I will be showing you in the next slide. Like these are the contingency plannings. Like for each case, like I have listed for Puja variety, it is 1, 2, 3, 7. For Ramchandi, it is 4, 5, 6. For different CR 1018, it is 2, 3, 6, 9. These are the contingency remedial.
Jana, you need not go in such detail about the varieties because we will not remember.
Yes,
this for time. You could please
Sure,
try
sir.
to.
I'm only left with 2 slides only. So this is a contingency planning we have to make. That these are the approaches we have to go for. Deep waterlogging tolerant rice varieties like Ancestry, or in shallow land that is prone to flood and flash flood, because these rice will float over the water as the depth of the water will increase. This variety will also float over the water without causing very yield loss. And then we may have to sometimes, suppose if it is the flooding is happening after 2 months of the transplanting, then we may have to keep average rice seedling of 60 days age. That may be as tall as 2 to 2.5 feet tall. So the medium waterlogging tolerant variety like all those Durga, sunflower, bitter gourd, these things have to be also taken up. So the actually one contingency planning, and which is suitable for different patches in that particular Doab area of Bhargavi and Daya has been developed, and these are all the contingency plannings. So these are all detailed for district block wise planning for different varieties during different seasons. So during Kharif, what needs to be done, during Rabi, what needs to be done. So this list has been prepared for the that area, and this same can be developed for the whole delta area. So I have to conclude like that for enhancing the drainage density, stream length are to be desilted or excavated, at least 180 kilometer length of drainage lines can be developed, which is possible with the available fall and that topography of that particular area. And the cross section of that drain to be designed for a area of 4 square kilometer is around 1.65 meter bottom width, 2 meter depth, and 1:1 side slope. And then complete removal of water through drains is not possible due to lack of fall. So removal of silt and weeds from existing water bodies of 125 square kilometer for enhancing the storage capacity of the pond, which will help in improving drainage congestion, is required. And the area proposed for rice during only Rabi is 321 square kilometer, and for aquaculture is 42 square kilometer. And contingency crop planning, as I have suggested in those tables, can be taken up for optimal cropping may be followed as suggested in the previous slide. With this, sir, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Jana, for a very nice presentation. Any questions for him? From the audience or from the panelists, any question for Dr. Jana? If none, I have one question. Dr. Jana, you are a water surplus state and you
Sir.
have a lot of flooding. Still, you import fish from Andhra Pradesh. Why don't you increase your attention on this fish culture rather than going for rice? Because paddy and poverty are interlinked.
Sir, presently, sir, people are started taking actually aquaculture in a very big way in the coastal areas adjacent to the Chilka Lake. That's those green patches, sir. They
That
have
is a small
already.
area. You all along the coast, you don't have any seawater, groundwater intrusion, seawater intrusion into the groundwater. You have lot of fresh water.
Yes,
And you are floating on during rainy season. You are floating on water.
yes, sir.
So you should be in the best position to make good use of water.
Yes, sir.
Why drainage?
People have started using it, sir, because there is no way of draining out all the water. So we have to live with it. So people have started taking aquaculture in a big way, sir. This is increasing in the coastal area.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Well, as I mentioned, we have presentation from East Coast. Two presentations we had, and we have one presentation from our West Coast. Very Thokal. Dr. Thokal. He is looking very tense. Dr. Thokal is Chief Scientist of the ACRIP on Water Management and at BSKV with Dapoli. He has a PhD from Udaipur and he has equal proficiency in all areas of water source management, problem soils, and he is the local or state level coordinator for the this technology on rubber dams. I had occasion to visit his station, and I was quite impressed with the large canvas of experiment that he was doing. Particularly, he had a better site for rubber dam than Bhubaneswar, from where it has originally come. So I was very impressed of seeing that. And he is a prolific writer, particularly on micro irrigation. Today, he speaks on management of problem soil, rainwater harvesting, judicious water utilization in agriculture coastal ecosystem. Dr. Thokal, please. And don't be tense. You are quite. Yes, please.
Sir, I am very, very.
आवाज नहीं आ रही, आपका उधर इंटरनेट का प्रॉब्लम होता है.
अभी तक एक्चुअली ये था सर. Yeah, sir. Can I start my presentation, sir?
Sure, floor is yours. You already taken 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it okay?
Bilkul,
Am I
okay. Sure.
Am I audible now?
Quite audible.
You are audible, please. Go ahead.
Respected chairman, co-chairman, all my fellow scientists. Actually, the Dr. Jena has presented the scenario for the eastern side of India. Now I am presenting my works at the western side of India. As we know, the Konkan region is rugged between the Western Ghat mountains and the Arabian Sea at a stretch of about 720 kilometers. Maximum soils are the lateritic, then coastal soil, saline soils, and medium black soils are the predominant soils here. This region falls under heavy, high rainfall and hilly region, and with the annual precipitation ranging from 2,500 to 4,000 millimeter. If we see the overall rainfall pattern in the Maharashtra compared to the Konkan region, almost 3 times than other parts of Maharashtra, we are receiving the precipitation in near about 84 rainy days, and we have the water surplus of about more than 2,500 mm. However, of course, we are quite rich as far as the water availability is concerned for the agriculture as well as per capita. But this is this scenario only during the rainy season. But after the rainy season, we face a lot of water scarcity, and the pictures are, look like as shown in the pictures here. So there are many water management challenges to handle the huge water resource in the Konkan region. That is about 1,800 TMC water we receive, and how to manage all this water. For this purpose, some of the process interventions we have proposed here. To mitigate all the challenges, Dr. Balasaheb Sawant Konkan Krishi Vidyapith Dapoli does the research and development through the field evaluation, then the demonstration and impact studies, then with the people's participation, and now then we recommend the technologies directly to the farmers or to the online departments. Here is the first rainwater harvesting structure, which is micro rainwater harvesting technology proposed only for the hill slope and tops, where to create the irrigation facility for the newly planted mango and cashew grafts in the isolated hilly area. And here we have main emphasis to create the decentralized water resources. And here just I wanted to put the success story of Jalkund. Under the traverse plan, we have constructed nearly since 750 this Jalkund and 429 tribal farmers are benefited. Each year we are conserving or harvesting the more than 3,000 cubic meter rainwater, and that rainwater is being utilized for nearly 76 hectare area. Due to this construction of the Jalkund, success rate of the mango and cashew grafts raised to 88 and 91% respectively, as against previously under the rain-fed conditions. The land utilization was also doubled in the target area, and the average water storage capacity utilization index was increased to 82%, which was previously less than 18%. this technology is quite viable, and the cost of rainwater harvesting is merely 50 paisa per liter. Due to this technology, we have observed the reduction in the drudgery of the farmers, time loss in the water transport, and cost of operation. And here are some photographs of the economic impact of the Jalkund intervention. Now the mango productivity is about 2 tons per hectare, and the farmers are getting more than 1 lakh rupees annually, which previously they were getting just 10,000 rupees per annum only from the agriculture. Through the cashew also, now this data is of the 2 years, initial 2 years. That's why here the productivity is somewhat less, but still the farmers are getting annual income from the cashew more than 50,000 rupees. After the 3-4 years of the plantation crop, generally the farmers grow the jasmine as an intercrop, and they utilize the water, rainwater harvested in the Jalkund, and mainly they are delivering this water through the gravity-based drip irrigation. This is another pictorial picture of the success. This is the collection of birds of jasmine flowers. Another technology that is on the larger scale, minimum with the minimum 50 lakh liters capacity, we have recommended the ponds also, and now the state government has accepted and adapted on the large scale by giving the 50% subsidy on, to the ponds. And here on our farm, we are growing the perennial crops as well as seasonal crops along with the aquaculture. And here, if we see the economics, the average cost of water harvesting through these ponds is about 1 rupee per liter. Now, stream water harvesting structures, the rubber dam, actually this is constructed in collaboration with IIW Bhubaneswar, and this is baby of Dr. Jena, my friend. Actually here, sir, this rubber dam is constructed with the RCC, and so ultimately it gives more life with the minimum leakages. The head wall is replaced by the rubber, and thus it is called as flexi head wall. Flexible head wall can be inflated after the monsoon season to store the water, and head wall can be deflated during the floods or during the high runoff periods. The cost of this rubber dam is almost equal to the masonry structure or the traditional drop structures which are being constructed in the watershed program. We found the applicability of this technology for the water conservation, soil erosion control, flood control in the rainfed ecosystems. Also, in the coastal ecosystem to restrict the seawater ingress. This will be very, very good technology. And again, to save the crop from the natural calamities, from the flood and high tides, as well as we can use this technology for the stream water harvesting to create irrigation facility and groundwater recharge, along with the carland management to reduce the salinity ingress. Sir, I'm glad to say here that we have submitted the project proposal for the construction or the multiplication of the rubber dams, and now it will be implemented shortly. The component of the rubber dam are the RCC structure along with the anchoring mechanism, then flexi head wall, inlet and outlet for inflation and deflation of the rubber. Here we have found some of the good features of this rubber dam technology. That is, no sediment is observed at the upstream side, which is very prominent feature here as far as the rubber dam is concerned. Clean runoff water is stored in the this rubber dam. Flexi wall provides the cushioning effect. If we see here, the cushioning effect is provided for the flow at the downstream side. So ultimately, there is no scoring observed during last 6 years at the downstream in the apron of the structure here. Then we have recommended the RCC Nala Bandh instead of the stone masonry structure, and the norms for the RCC Nala Bandh are accepted by the government of Maharashtra to include in the watershed development program for the Konkan region because of its special features. That is, life of RCC is more than the stone masonry dam. Minimum leakage are observed. So ultimately, the water storage is for the longer duration, and which is the main motto of the stream water or the rainwater harvesting in the Konkan region. More stability against the piping and undermining. And if we consider the cost is almost same as that of the stone masonry structure. Here, this is the stone masonry structure, and we have recommended some of the check dams also. That is stone check dam with the stones lined with the plastic. And here the series of the check dams we have constructed here through the people's participation, and the results are very encouraging, and the massive programs are being undertaken now also by many of the organizations, and the people are now aware of storing the water and utilizing for the agriculture as well as the domestic purpose. And this is the success story I want to quote here. Up to now, we have constructed 314 Konkan Vijay Bandhara, and about 1100 farmers are benefited, and 650 hectares of the land has come under irrigation during the Rabi season, and total storage each year is being stored. About 27,000 cubic meter of the water is stored each year, and seasonal vegetables as well as perennial crops are grown on the stored water. Groundwater recharge is also increasing, is also increased, as well as along with the reduction in the drought.
Try to conclude.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Please try to conclude.
Yes, sir. These are the, some of the photos of the success story here. Then scrap tire check dam also we have recommended. Then as far as the problems of carlands are concerned, total 64,000 hectare area is under the carland along the 58 creeks. And here we have given some management practices, that is protective bunds, sluice gate, field bunds, shallow farm ponds, peripheral and interceptor drainage, and some agronomical practices traditionally being followed as ulkatni, the shallow plowing, and avatni. The judicious water application, many of the experiments we have conducted, and we have found the water saving as well as increase in the yield, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ukal. Well, any questions for him from the panelists or other audiences? If none, let me put one question. I visited this site about more than 2 years back.
Yes, sir. In 2018, sir.
2018 or 21.
Yeah.
So how many more such rubber dams you have been able to install?
Sir, we have submitted the project with the local. Up to now, we were trying to we have submitted 3 projects, sir, and all the 3 projects are approved by the local bodies. And about now we are going to construct about 30 rubber dams in our area, sir, here in the Dapoli Taluka only.
For the
Recently, we have got the approval also, sir.
Who have not visited this area, this is quite different from the eastern coast. This Dapoli area is essentially lateritic soils. They have about 3 meters of rainfall, and the land is sloping. As soon as it falls, it joins the sea. Infiltration rates in the soils are very high, and slope being towards the sea, very difficult to retain. So technology based on these tech dams, rubber dams is very useful. And for the information of Dr. Marco, your area is famous for cheese, buffalo cheese. What you call it?
Yes, could
This
be
area is very famous for Alfonso mangoes.
Yes, it could be. I was very interested by the use of this new technology. I think it might be very interesting for our problems. Yes.
Sure.
Sure, definitely.
You have 2 experts. You can invite them to give advice there.
Yes.
May I speak, please? Thank you very much, Rajesh. In fact, Marcos, for your information, my first service started in this university. After my MTech from IIT Kharagpur, I joined there as a research associate.
With Dr. Sunil Gorontiwa, sir.
Yeah, along with Gorontiwa. And in fact, the rainfall, as the chairman said, 3 meter, but that particular year, it was 5 meter.
Good.
Too much of rain. Really, it's a nice place. You don't need a AC, you don't need fan at that time. Now I think there is climate change. At that time, never a fan was required in the room. Such a nice place. Very good work. All the best.
I think you can organize a visit for me to this area so that I can gather some information and see effectively how does it work and mutuate this technique for our problems in southern Italy.
It will be our pleasure, sir. Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I hand over this charge to our co-chairman, Dr. Reddy.
I would like to be the spectator and listen from you, sir, because of last experience.
Let me enjoy that status for some time.
Yeah, you take some rest, okay? Now our chairman was telling we have East Coast, West Coast. I from South I made. Now we are coming to the Northern India. Okay, we have presentation by Dr. DS Bundela. He is principal scientist and head division of irrigation and drainage engineering, ICR Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Karnal, Haryana. In fact, this is a very good place, nice place. I had a training there for 3 weeks time during 91. He will be presenting methods of drainage and irrigation for enhancing productivity in coastal ecosystems. Dr. Bundela, it is your time. So as chairman said, we have some shortage of time. Take 15 minutes, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Please.
Honorable Chairman, Tyagi Saab, respected co-chair, respected speakers, and dear delegates. So let me share my presentation. Yes. So am I audible?
Quite audible.
You are audible.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Basically, I have the more experience on the inland salinity and its reclamation, but the topic has been assigned to me on the coastal salinity, so I have the little experience. I will try to give a justice honestly. So here, basically, in my presentation, I am giving the more emphasis on the drainage component. Basically, in the coastal ecosystem, the drainage plays a big role, and the irrigation has a supplementary as well as the productive irrigation for the winter crop. So, my presentation includes the problem of coastal ecosystems, then the need for drainage and irrigation, particularly in coastal and deltaic saline and acid sulfate soil, innovative approach to drainage and irrigation methods, its impact, national coverage on drainage, and then the policy is to basically national drainage guideline policy and the ways forwards. Sir, the coastal ecosystem has a quite diverse and challenging environment and attributed to number of factors basically. So the climate varies from arid to humid, soil medium to heavy soils, including what is called topography, little higher than the sea level, even sometime below. So these are the situations where the salinity is quite high, and in pH terms, we have the acid sulfate soils as well as saline soil, so groundwater quality good to saline water. So these are the situation which has a complex environment and which need to be managed for enhancing the crop productivity. So particularly the water logging and flooding are dominant during the monsoon season, whereas the salinity problem is dominant during the dry seasons. So the coastal agriculture, basically the three part I am grouping: the coastal saline soils, and here some of the example I would take from West Bengal, Gujarat, deltaic saline lowlands, from the Krishna Western Delta, and acid sulfate soil in polders, the Kutanad, Kerala, and Sundarbans, West Bengal. So the reclamation and management options for the coastals, basically we emphasize on the drainage and water management, salt leaching, protective embankment with sluice gate, gypsums, and other measures which are needed. So this is the current scenario and projected for the salt affected soil, including inland and coastal. So in 2010, it is 6.73, where the coastal saline soil is 1.25 and inland is 1.71. When we look at the scenario of 2025, it's enhanced to 11.20, where the saline component is increasing rapidly, whereas the sodic is not increasing that much. So the saline soil got multiplied around more than 2.5 times. And we have the case study of Haryana as well as the other state where the saline soils are increasing by more than 20%. So the drainage need and methods basically. So drainage need can be accomplished by the land forming, land shaping, grading, bedding, and the others on the part of like fields drains, which may be the shallow or deep ones. So for the coastal region, the effective surface drainage, including the pumped outlet, because there is not much gradient at the outfall. So the pump outlet is needed, as the case example of Netherlands, where they are using the windmills and wind generator for pumping the saline effluent to the sea. And then sometimes the surface drainage alone is not sufficient. So we have to integrate with the subsurface drainage and other remedial measures to protect the lands. So for designing a optimal system, we have to follow the three criteria: the agriculture drainage criteria, technical criteria, and environmental. But mostly we follow the first two criteria very well, but third criteria we hardly look into. So that's why sometimes Drainage is treated as a non-environmental friendly measures. And for that, we have to have a more emphasis because nowadays the environment issues are playing a big role. So in agriculture drainage, basically we look into the maximum benefit derived from the drainage system in the terms of yield enhancement, in terms of reducing water table, soil salinity, and others. In terms of technical, we just look into the cost. It should be cheaper, cheaper, and cheaper. So sometimes because of that, the environmental issue is getting aggravated. So that's why on the third aspect, we have to give them more emphasis. Like recently, we have developed the control drainage system for the vertisols because where they are going for the narrow spacing at 15 meter. So the over drainage was the issue, and that control system has saved around 15 to 18% irrigation water and 10% of the fertilizers. This is the total drainage methods in the country have been adopted, but some measures like a subsurface and surface drainage, these are the two measures. Basically, they are playing more important role in the reclamation component, and particularly in the waterlogged saline soil having the saline groundwater. But nowadays, the single measure is not sufficient to reclaim the conditions. So that's why we have to now move focus and recommend the integrated drainage for the total benefits. These are the design criteria: drainage coefficient for the subsurface drainage for the three climate: arid, semi-arid, sub-humid, and humid in the coastal. Two outlet condition, gravity and pumped one, but pumped outlet give the advantage as well as the lower cost because we can install at the deeper depth with the wider spacing, but it has a higher initial investment in terms of the machinery. The gravity drainage is sometimes cheaper. And then we have the three textures for the different spacing. These are the equation we used for designing the subsurface drainage system. Hoogout generally we used, but in special cases we use the Globerton equations. In Indian environment, we have to normally, basically we design the composite layout because singular design is not feasible in most of the cases. Only in the research cases, research studies, we follow the singular one. For the pipe sizes, here we are using the 80 mm pipe. Nowadays, the 50 mm pipe has come for the narrower spacing, and we use the collector. There are situations in the lift irrigation project as well as in rolling lands, the surface drainage is not available. And nowadays, the farmer is not willing to give the land even on the higher cost from the government. So where we are recommending the pipe main drain along with the SSD. So this is the design criteria flowchart we follow for designing the SSDs. And then this is the standard design criteria for the medium texture soil and heavy texture soils. Basically the Northwest India, the medium we follow, and heavy texture soil for the Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, we follow those criteria. So far, the SSD technology has reclaimed the 72,000 area in 10 states. So this the area is just 5% of the target area in the country. So the achievement is quite low because the problem of institution, problem of national policy that India is facing with. These are the new material have been used. Earlier we used the clay, concrete. Nowadays we are using the PVC material, corrugated and perforated bunds. And for the pipe main drain, basically we are more preferring the SDP corrugated pipes. For the sump and manhole, nowadays the SDP manhole is coming and they are being used because of the lighter weight. So the technology, particularly it has a lot of benefits. It enhanced the crop intensity by 40 to 50%, crop yield by 50 to 110%, and the farm income just 200 to 300%. And these are the some of the benefit VC ratio 1.5 to 3.2. So that means this investment has get quite a lot benefits, but still it's not going on the larger scale because of the institution and the national policy, which I said. So that for the coastal saline soils, basically the permanent reclamation is not possible because the recurring of the high tide, recurring of cyclone, flooding, there are many more issues. So that's why the permanent reclamation is not that much feasible. So that's why we have to go for the management aspect and focus more on that. So for which we have to adopt the shallow open drains or deep open drains. So where the deep open drains, basically they removed 14 ton salts per hectare. In case of shallow drains, they remove around 6 to 7 tons. The lowland area in the coastal zones must be protected from the tidal inundation through the protective embankments with 3:1 slope. At the river end, 2:1 slope on the country end and 1 meter freeboard. And wherever the excess water that need to be routed through a sluice gate so that the saline water may not come inland. The ponds for paddy and fish cultivation, deep furrow and high ridge shallow wells are dug for water provisions during the dry season. Vertical drainage is also recommended in some of the cases, particularly in the older areas where these vertical drainage was practiced and the salt have been mostly leached from the upper layers, and that reclaimed the root zones basically. But still there are problems in the younger soil and poor drained soils where the saline groundwater is still prevalent in causing the problems. So therefore we need to adopt the climate adaptive surface drainage and vertical drainage methods for timely planting of the crop. This is the case of the Krishna Western Delta, where under Indo-Dutch project, the pipe drainage system was adopted with the 45 to 60 meter spacing and drain depth of 1.2 to 1.3 meters. So which has reclaimed the soils, and the 45 meter was more effective in that case, but after 3 years, the 45 meter spacing and 60 meter, they gave the similar result. So for the longer run, 60 meter was adopted, but for the shorter duration, the 45 meters. But because of the higher clay content area, the controlled drainage was also recommended. For the acid sulfate soil, these are the acid saline soil. They are more difficult soils basically. So the drainage and reclamation of these soil must be carefully planned and implemented with the 3 conditions, because when there is a sulfur compound layer is within 1 meter, then surface drainage and land grading should be limited with the cut less than 30 centimeters, and paddy crop should be considered. The second condition is basically where the sulfur compound layer is between 1 meter to 1.5 meter. There the cut should be less than 0.5 meter, and surface and land grading should be adopted, and subsurface drainage may also be possible only in condition of the clay soils, where the layer is more than 1.5 meters. So there the surface drainage, subsurface drainage and land graded was adopted with the condition of cut limited to the 1 meter, and controlled drainage was also recommended. So this is the one of the example of the Kerala where the pipe drainage was standardized with 30 meters spacing and 1 meter depth, which reduced the salinity from 16 to 3.5 and increased the yield significantly, and system leached down the salt to the tune of 20 ton per hectare in the 5-year period. and drainage system with the 30-year meter was found better than the 60 meter for the initial year, but the later they performed bad. The control SSD has been found to be effective in avoiding the exposure because it has the advantage of limiting the water level depth with the control, so that the sulfur compound layer may not be exposed for the oxidations. So that's the better way to adopt the control drainage. This is the control drainage adopted in the heavy soils where the drain spacing is less than 30 meters with the gravity outlet, and excessive drainage is basically causing the environmental problem. So the CSSRI in the recent National Drainage Guideline in 2017 recommended the narrow lateral spacing with the control drainage only. And in one of the project, the nine farmer society funded project for 2,400 hectares with 20 meter spacing. And this project was basically funded from a bank loan by the farmers. And here the government contribution is not at all there, but they are getting the good benefit and farmers happy with the controlled drainage because they are saving the water, they are saving the fertilizers in the Maharashtra.
Dr. Bundela, please try to conclude.
Yes, sure. So this is the pictures of the controlled drainage in undulating topography of lift irrigation, where the control structure, the conventional was failed basically because of the slope. So this is the one of the new technology with the internet and SCADA has been developed in the Netherlands, the climate adaptive drainage systems. And this has the advantage. So this is the new innovative approach to be used in Indian conditions, and it is giving the good results as well in Netherlands. So this is the national coverage, only the 72,000, only the Kerala, the 250, and the highest in the Karnataka. On the irrigation method in the coastal region, it is the earlier speaker, they have focused on that part, the supplementary irrigation during the monsoon season and full irrigation during the winter season. The minor irrigation should be given the priority in the coastal region. Low cost irrigation method should be developed. Rainwater storage pond or shallow tubewell with the micro irrigation method provide the feasible and cost effective solutions. So this is the basically national drainage guideline has been developed by the CSSRI, and this guideline has been communicated to the 12 states for the implementation. But still there are problems, and the Secretary Agriculture as well as the Secretary ICR, they have communicated to the Chief Secretary of the states for the implementation, but still that has been implemented in some of the state plan, but not in the national plan. So that's why the progress in the drainage implementation of the larger scale is not getting big way. Like in most of the states now the progress is zero. Like Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra is doing something, Karnataka is doing. But in the entire country, if we look at only the 1,500 hectare per annum is basically the progress. So this is the cost norm for the entire system with the spacing from 20 to 100 meters. So the way forward is basically we have to follow the climate smart controlled surface and subsurface drainage and efficient irrigation method hold the key in coastal ecosystem for enhancing the crop productivity. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bundela. Well, CSSRI has been the leader in subsurface drainage, and this technology has been standardized for quite some time. My only question is whether the systems that were installed earlier are functional or they have stopped functioning. Say, for example, in this area near Sonipat, we put a lot of project in HOPP.
Yes, yes, sir. Some of the system are still functional, like one of our pioneer project at Sampla that has been closed because of the highway development, and the colony has come in that area. So, but there are some projects still functional, but new projects are coming. But since 2017, the progress is not that much. In Haryana, like for last 5 years, they have only implemented 1,000 hectares. So that part is big worry from the CSSRI part. Basically, we are putting a lot of time in the national policy facilitation, but still it's not making that big way. And the problem is coming, canal system water efficiency is not making a big headway. So that's why we need the more focus on the drainage, because people believe more in the reclamation component rather than the preventive one.
Yeah, Dr. Reddy, kindly.
Dr. Bundela,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned that there is an annual increase of 20% of saline soils in Haryana.
Yes, sir.
Then what is the reason? Is it due to the over pumping of the saline groundwater? And what are the policies to control it?
Sir, it is not with the over pumping of saline. It's a basically problem with the drainage, because whatever drains the earlier they were not maintained. They are plugged. The second part, the road infra is also playing a big hurdles. Basically, that is choking the drains. The third part is basically the canal system is getting older and older. So that's why there are more seepage and leakage from the canal system. So that's why the area is increasing, whereas the Sotic area is declining in the Haryana.
Any government policies to control it? Any steps by the government?
Government is trying, but they have the issue with the main power institution, basically main power and machineries.
Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I am Gopal Krishan from National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee. Sir, I am working in Punjab, Haryana, both states for salinity in fresh areas where there is fresh water. So salinity is ingressing. So in Punjab, what we have found that in Southwest Punjab, it is not due to no doubt the canal is the cause, but not the saline water is from the canal is the cause. The cause is the groundwater level is rising because the groundwater is not used. More that they are using canal water. That's why the groundwater is not being used. So level is rising up, particularly in Muktsar district and all these areas. And the water level when coming up, so salinity is due to that water, not due to the canal water. Whenever the canal water is going down, it is diluting that salinity. Because the canal is coming from the Satluj, and Satluj is a very pristine water. It is coming from the very high Himalayas. So this is what we have observed. It is not the question, but it's just our observation.
I have I would clarify, because what is the misconception in our country? Good canal water cannot salinize Indian agriculture. That's why the water management has failed in this country. And water management, we focus only on the water, not on the salt. So salt management never come into the picture. So that's why there is a more salinization due to the canal irrigation rather than use of the saline groundwater.
No, sir. If we use the more groundwater, then the groundwater level will not rise, because the groundwater, there is an initial salinity in the groundwater. When the groundwater level is rising in that area, it is bringing salt to the surface, and again it is getting evaporated, and again it is leaving behind the salt. So it is the gradual deposition of salts in the soil.
Gopal Krishnan, this is the problem world over.
Okay, sir.
Canal irrigation water, wherever they are introduced,
No, that is
which are underlain by saline groundwater.
Yes, sir.
Because that water is of not so much usable quality. So everywhere, not in our country.
No. That is the reason.
This is the problem.
That
anyway,
is
time is running short, and Dr. Reddy.
We will go to the next speaker. Yeah, we have Dr. Gopal Krishnan. In fact, he was discussing in this. Yeah, you have seen him. Scientist C, Groundwater Hydrology Division. National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee, a famous institution in the country for hydrology. I welcome you, sir. Gopalakrishnan Garu, your topic is groundwater salinity, impacts and possible remedial measures and management solutions. Please take up. Your time starts, sir. Please.
Thank you very much, sir. My topic is, as you told, sir told, that groundwater salinity, impact and possible remedial measures and management solutions. So as Dr. Bundela has told that we are going to leach out that. So again, all the salts, they go down to the groundwater. So if there is a connectivity between the aquifers, then only it seeps down to the deeper layers. Otherwise, it remains on the surface. So the contents of my talk is the introduction, background, what is the causes of this groundwater salinity, then groundwater development and uses, groundwater and soil salinity and management measures. So first, I will go from the demand side. The demand side, you can see the demand side is increasing from the domestic sector. If you see, the population is increasing day by day, and you see 46% of the world population contributed by the top 5 countries: China, India, United States, Indonesia and Pakistan, and 11% of the world population contributed from top 6 to 10. Those are Nigeria, Brazil, Bangladesh, Russia and Mexico. And 43% of the world population contributed by the others. So if you see the components of the population change, one birth every 8 seconds, one death every 12 seconds, one international migrant every 47 seconds. So there are billions still lack water and sanitation services, and 3 billion people worldwide lack basic hand washing facilities at home. So if you see what will be the scenario in 2030, so we all will be lacking this fresh water sources. And if we come to the hydrological cycle, some of the part of this and what water use sources also told by Reddy sir, is the co-chairing this session in this first talk. So I will tell you, because in all the water cycle starts from this. If you see the hydrological cycle starts from the ocean, and it comes to that precipitation on the surface, then it go down in the groundwater or run out. So the water which is in the circulation is or a cycle, that is called the active water, otherwise it's a groundwater, dead water. Then we come to the global water distribution. If we say the saline water is 97.4% and fresh water is only 2.6%. So out of the total estimated water on 1.39 it at least for 18 cubic meter. So from this, out of this 2.6%, ice and glaciers have 1.74%, groundwater 0.76% only, and active water is 0.1%. And active water, what is that? Active water, that is your lakes and wetlands, rivers, soil moisture, atmosphere, and the living beings like in organisms on this. And then human consume only 0.003%. That is the 4 into 10 raised to power 13 cubic meter. So if you see the global water consumption from 1900 to 2025, so we can see here it is a world curve, and this is for the Asia. So Asia is the largest consuming in the global use in water. So if you see in the various sector, it has been shown agriculture, industry, municipal supply and reservoirs. And here we can see the groundwater, the water use is not increasing only one sector, it is increasing in all the sectors. You can see the growth is there, even in the reservoirs, that is the hydropower or dams, etc. And the world water, this is shown by the Reddy sir also. Then if you see some general facts, 2 billion people have no access to clean drinking water. By 2050, 40% of world population or 3 billion will live in countries where it is difficult or impossible to get a fair water. 80% of all illness and death in developing world due to the contaminated water. And a child dies every 8 seconds from the drinking contaminated water. So if we see the freshwater stress in 1995 to 2025, so we can see here how the water withdrawal in percentage is increasing. Here you can see the water what is the category of 20 to 40%, but it is increasing. It is heading towards the more than 40%. So the per capita water availability, 1700 cubic meter per year is called the water stress. If it is less than that, and water scarce is called, it's 1000. Less than 1000 cubic meter per person. Then India's water resources, the total water resources are the 4000, and annual water availability 1999 BCM, and utilizable water is only 1137. Out of this 690 is surface water, and 447 is groundwater. So this is the alkaline water stress indicator, which has been already expressed. So how it is rising the water demand in India? Irrigation, you can see it is increasing, but the percent of the total demand it is decreased. And the domestic industry, these are the various sectors where the water demand is increasing and will increase by year 2050. So per capita water availability, we can see here, Russia is maximum, and then followed by the USA, and India is somewhere here. So, but this is the again in different form, how the population and this water demand is increasing. Population has increased, so water demand has, water availability has decreased. So water scenario, this is also told by Reddy sir, it stands 133 in the list of 180 countries and 120 in the list as per the water quality. And the water quality scenario are there: arsenic, nitrate, EC. Salinity is also a very important issue in India, and fluoride. But this salinity is not is continuous, but is in the some pockets. So that I will explain you not in detail. The groundwater is.
Krishnan,
Yes,
kindly come to the.
Yes, I am coming, sir. I am coming, sir.
Yeah.
My time is 15 minutes, so I will come. So groundwater is stored in the aquifers. These are the storehouse of the all aquifer, and these are the aquifer distribution all over the world. So if you see the how this is the alluvium, Indo-Gangetic basin, this is the alluvium, and the other types of the in India it is shown. And then basin-wise groundwater development, you can see here the groundwater is being utilized. The red is there. The groundwater development is more than 50% in these areas. And if you see the groundwater salinity distribution in India, so as per the CGWB report in 2017, out of total 6,881 blocks assessed, saline is 100 blocks. So inland salinity out of this is prevalent mainly in arid and semi-arid regions of Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab and Gujarat, and to a lesser extent in UP, Delhi, MP, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Bihar and Tamil Nadu. And we come to the coastal salinity, it extends from Brahman, Cochin, Gujarat to Konkan and Malabar coast to Kanyakumari in the south to northwards along the Coromandel coast to Sundarbans in West Bengal. So if we come to the groundwater salinity, the more salinity groundwater than surface water due to the more exposure to the soluble minerals from geological state. Because the surface water is flowing, the flow is more, so there is less. But in the groundwater, it is also dynamic, but it is residence time is more, so salts are getting mixed with it. So shallower depth, we are finding the bicarbonate. In the deeper depth, the chloride will increase with the time. So precipitation also contains dissolved mineral. It reacts with the soil minerals and rocks. So type of mineral dissolved depends on the chemical composition of, physical structure of, pH and redox potential. And CO2 assists in solvent action because CO2 in presence of water converted to the bicarbonate acid environment, and dissolution will occur of the salts. So locally absorbed gases originating from the magma contribute dissolved mineral to the groundwater. So if you see the salinity origin, there is marine origin. These are mostly found in coastal zone with maybe connate origin. And then is the terrestrial origin due to the evaporation, dissolution and depth where there is semi-permeable layers, anthropogenic regions, and then mixed origins, maybe the mixing effect of both. So these are the just graphically shown how the interface between the groundwater and seawater intrusion. So I will come next to types of salinity. These are the origin, then the type natural primary salinity caused by the result of dissolution of minerals. These are the various minerals. Then there's dry land and secondary caused due to the rising water levels, and tertiary and irrigated salinity causes repeated multiple irrigation of the water. So salinity intrusion, which is a very important thing, intrusion of saline water degrades our freshwater resources, causes loss to the socioeconomic. Factors responsible for the intrusion are geological, meteorological, and climate change effects, and rise in sea level. Then factor responsible for higher mineralization, intensified formation, and the intrusion is not only it is occurring in the coastal, but the salinity expansion is happening in the inland areas also, as these were also told by the Dr. Bundela. I will show you one slide. We have seen this study we are carrying out in Punjab, southwest Punjab. Here we are experiencing the salinity in expansion, and this is possibly due to the high water extraction in the central Punjab, where this groundwater extraction is very high. So if we we have used the tracer studies for the salinity studies. These are the stable isotope age dating to find the these residence type, noble gases and environmentation, then inorganic chemistry and chloride, nitrate. Others we have used yogurts. So these are the how we are finding the age. If it's a 25 year and 33,000 years old, the water will move from the lesser to the higher years age, and we will calculate this distance, and it will also found the velocity with which the water is moving. So by this way, if the saline water is moving, we calculate the areas of the water movement. This is a study we have carried out in Haryana, in Mewat. Under the National Hydrology Project, World Bank sponsored, where we have found the salinity is increasing towards the foothills of Aravalli, where there is a heavy extraction of groundwater, and we found that how the age is decreasing towards the Aravalli hills, and the movement of the water as well we can see due to the isotope tracers. So then soil salinity, I will not tell in detail. These are some of the areas where there is soil salinity: Sundarban Delta area, Kari soils, Kharlands, Uttar Kannada, Gujarat, and Rann of Kutch, Khazan lands of in Goa, East Coast and West Coast. Then the salinity control and management measures are the soil salinity. For the soil salinity reclamation management, these are better explained by the Dr. Bundela: salt leaching, scraping, flushing, leaching, and then the other measures are. These are the some of the examples. This is a 5-scale model which we have tried in the Sundarban area in the Indo-UK water IUKWC project. We have found this 5-scale not only it helps in reaching out of the salinity, and it prevents the water logging also. So these are the area we have used the sluice gates, and this was our work in this Sundarban area. And these are some of the photographs of this area, Sundarban area. And then engineering measures are the surface drainage. In surface drainage, ditches are provided so that excess water is run off before it enters the soil. Then subsurface drainage, then open ditches, more drains, other subsurface drains. These are and then some salinity control structure, tidal regulators in the sea level, then tail end regulators, with diaphragm wall. These are the diagrams, how they look like. And then the regulator come bridge, then lock come regulators, and inlet sluice and the control sluice. These will prevent the ingression and manage the salinity. Then bandaras in some areas, Kharland schemes, saltwater exclusion dams, all these will check the salinity infusions. And then bunds and saline embankments, vented crossbars, these all will check over the salinity infusions. And nala plugs, gully plugs in forested areas, and these are the 5-scale model which I have shown you earlier. So then recharge techniques are also there: check dams and interior land structure, recharge tanks and recharge wells, where we will follow the recharge. Then the recharge techniques again, recharge reservoirs,
now.
Then afforestation. These are shelterware plantations. So these are some of the management techniques, scientific and the behavioral and institutional approaches, water supply and demand management, crop adaptation and cropping pattern, and then the aquifer storage and recovery. We have developed a model, and we have carried out the experiment for the saline area, where we are developing a freshwater bubble in a saline water. And in this, we are putting the fresh water in the saline water and storing it, and then we are using when it is required. So this is the technique. Why we have doing it? Because water crisis during the dry seasons and common property resource, ponds and creeks, agriculture patches, and availability of technique. This technique we are also following in the Haryana Mewat region, and we are trying to provide it to a community. And this is the ASR concept: take water from the ponds, inject that water into the saline aquifer, and some water will be at this. I have filed a patent for this also, this technique, where the freshwater bubble will be developed in the saline water. So these are the
your time is up, Dr. Gopal Krishnan. No more, because we don't have time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will thank these persons who have directly or indirectly contributed to. These are the acknowledgements. So thank you very much, sir. So I think I have not taken the much time.
You have not taken much time and made a good review of the salinity throughout the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah. Doctor. Dr. Reddy.
Yeah, please.
Yes, please. Next.
Yeah, thank you. Questions there?
Yeah.
I think has presented a good review of status and technologies. Thank you very much, Gopal Krishnan garu.
Thank you.
Yeah, now we have two more speakers. One is Dr. Anwar Jahid. Is there, please? Anwar Jahid? I don't see him in the list. I don't know whether he joined or not. Anwar Jahid, are you there, please?
So both the presenters are absent, it seems, sir.
No, I think Dev Kumar Nath is there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I am here.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very nice. We have someone from Bangladesh. And,
Yes.
yeah, he is from Bangladesh Agriculture University. Maiman Singh, Bangladesh. Yeah, Dev Kumar Nath will be presenting on water governance in coastal polder ecosystems of Bangladesh. Are the water management organizations positioned to accept the responsibility? A big question mark. I think you have to answer that one. Mr. Dev Kumar Nath, your time starts now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Kindly unshare the screen, sir. On the top, that green, if you...
Thank you, the chairman of this session, respective co-chairman, other presenter, and the participants. I'm just...
You can share your screen.
Yes, is it visible? Yes, sir.
No.
Okay.
Not okay.
You are not sharing.
Sure.
First, you open the PowerPoint presentation, sir, then press the screen share.
Okay. Is it okay, sir, now?
Yeah, it's fine. You can put on full screen.
Yes, thank you.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Chairman, Honorable Co-Chairman, and other presenter and participants, audience. I am from Bangladesh, Dev Kumar Nath, a student of Bangladesh Agricultural University. So I am going to present water governance in coastal polder ecosystem of Bangladesh, whether the water management organizations are ready to accept their responsibility or not. So I'm I'm going quickly. So you are expert of coastal region, what I have seen. As like India, Bangladesh coastal zone is also vulnerable region. This is the home most food insecure pupil, vulnerable pupil. In Bangladesh, 139 polder have been constructed, which covered 1.2 million hectare of low-lying coastal lands, and it is also tidal flooding area. Salinity intrusion is also there. This polder have been started creating during 1960s after drug mission report under Coastal Environment Project. Then the coastal area, basically in Khulna, the the southern part of Bangladesh, coastal Bangladesh, there is 139 polder. So, but there is huge investment on the periphery of the embankment of the polder, but not inside. Inside, there is improvement in agriculture, but not there is not so much in polder water management. That's why it's still in polder areas of Bangladesh only almond crop, only one crop is cultivating, and drain is always a problem because during almond season there is lots of monsoon rainfall, and low-lying areas in coastal area also inundated by rainwater. So always there is a big challenge for the polder pupil for drain out the water. So mostly Bangladesh Water Development Board is responsible for the water management for the polders, for the sluice gates. Firstly, they have their gate khalashi for maintaining the sluice, but later on the donors agencies, they recommended for participatory water management, community water management, and then the responsibility has been started to shift it from gate khalashi from Bangladesh Water Development Board to community people. There are many projects like IPSAM project, like Global project. Global project is still going on under Bangladesh Water Development Board in collaboration with Bangladesh Water Government and Netherlands government. This, but there is still problem remaining. The objective of this study is to see the, as I have mentioned earlier, that now the responsibility came to the participatory water management organization. So my study aims to see organization structure of that WMG water management organization and their behavior, their variability with space and time, and to see whether the organization are ready to accept the responsibility or not. So this is the study site, Polder 30. It is under Khulna division of Bangladesh, coastal Bangladesh. Here there is one WMA, that means Water Management Association, 40 registered WMG Water Management Group, and unregistered 10 sluice catchment subcommittee, SCSC, sluice catchment subcommittee. There is some layers we have found in water management group. First one, the existing layer, that there is Water Management Association, then Water Management Group. Though the area is more than 1,000 hectare coverage, but still Water Management Federation is not here. So, so in Polder, there is about 8,000 household, 40 WS I've already mentioned earlier, and this within this only 40% household has not covered, but the rest of the 60% household have been covered. The average in mainly the WMG is responsible for the sluice operation and management, so on. So I am talking mostly about the water management group. So about 200 people on an average is in WMG, and in water participatory water management guideline, there is a women participation obligation. So there is about, now we have seen that about 42% women are now working in the WMGs. So this is my research framework. I have adopted this framework from Fujita. This is organizational theory. So this organizational theory mainly divided into two parts: organizational structure and organizational behavior. Under organizational structure, there is two things: division of labor, and secondly, coordination and standardization. Under organizational behavior, there is so many things. There is organizational culture, there is organizational decision making, leadership, internal communication, then motivational insight. This is the most important part. So these are the methodologies how I have. There is a key informant interview. I have done the research to so many stakeholders. I have gone through with the KII. Then secondary data from Bangladesh Water Development Board, Global project, then Water Management Group, Water Management Association also. So secondly, for behavior, I have used a structured questionnaire. In the lower part, I have mentioned there is 3 level, M1, M2, M3 level. That is from executive committee, 2 level I have covered, M1 and M2, and from general committee, I have covered M3 groups. So WMG, in a WMG, there is 40 WMG I have mentioned earlier. there is two committee, general committee and executive committee. 55% khana need to cover in general committee. And this is the how it is formed, WMG. So there is a mainly in executive committee, there is 12 people, chairman, vice chairman, secretary, joint secretary, and so on. There is also destitute women, landless, and fishers. In WMG, same structure, but the representative came from WMG. This is a WMA structure, that is 12 executive committee and rest member from the WMG. So executive is same, chairman, vice chairman, secretary, joint secretary, cashier, active member, then landless, destitute, and fishers. So then now there is not registered, but there is a committee project started, that is Sluice Cancer Subcommittee. This committee is structure is a little bit complex. From nearby Sluice Gate, 4 to 5 WMG representative come from 4 to 5 WMG. Sometimes it is partially also 1-2 member may come, and they help WMG mainly for Sluice Gate operation. So this is the coordination. I have in quick, I will go through this coordination. Mainly there is some dotted line you see, and there is some others strong line. But you see there is Bangladesh Water Development Board, and there is different officials. Then there is a different division, operational management division. Then Bangladesh Water Development Board. There is a different. Then Blue Gold project, BG is Blue Gold project. Then Upazila level organization like UNO, Zilla Chairman, LG, DA, DLS. Then there is also other Union Parishad local organization. But you see, with the Union Parishad, though they are the local organization, there is a break line. That means there is less coordination among WMA and Union Parishad, among WMG and Union Parishad. Organizational behavior, why it is important, because you see for water management group, many level of people, farmers, fishers, small traders, craftsmen, boatmen, aquaculture, landless, destitute women, so all type of people who have land inside the folder may come. So it is very much important to study their behavior. So now there we have seen that in decision making for use of budget, as I have mentioned, that there is some class like chairman, secretary, then 5 member, chairman, vice chairman, secretary, joint secretary. Then
Mr. Dev Kumar, kindly try to come to some.
Yes, I'm going through very quickly. And this is actually a result. I'm just showing that in decision making, how the behave the organization, water management group. So you see the first graph, most decision have been taken by 5 members. That means chairman, vice chairman, secretary, joint secretary. But all executive member participation is only 35%. 65% taken by the 5 members, though there is 12 members in the committee. In conducting event, you have seen that mostly chairman and secretary have taken decision, though there is some participation of other people. In Sluice maintenance, mainly chairman, secretary, and Sluice Cancer Subcommittee is involved, but all member of the committee, they are not always there. In Sluice operation, chairman, secretary, and Sluice Cancer Subcommittee only take participation. In leadership, as it is the important part of organizational behavior measure. There is 4 things we have covered: administrative management, operational management, infrastructure management, and conflict management. And we have seen that in administrative management, the scored organization have surveyed the 8 WMGs and Everest. In administrative management, they scored lower than 3 Everest. And in infrastructure management also, they scored 4. In transparency, in terms of transparency, there are so many things we have studied, but I would like to mention only 2 things. WMG shares information on maintenance of sluice gate, and the second thing, WMG shares information on sluice gate operation with advisors and others. Here we have seen that the WMG do not like to share the information with other participants of the WMG group. They just few people, they do the maintenance and operation. The second, I think, financial accountability. Here we have seen that group WMG invest the group savings with proper concern, and the return is satisfactory. Here we have seen that it is also poor in the 3 level, 3 management level responses poor. Because they don't take proper concern, they don't conduct the meeting, they don't take concern from the other participants of the group. Only the people, they will, executive member, they will do.
Yeah, kindly try conclude now.
My time is.
In case of communication, this is communication within executive committee and general member, within general member and general member, within general member and water managers association, within WMG water management group and Bangladesh Water Development Board. This between a different group, we have tried to take, we have tried to measure the communication.
Dave, I'm getting message from the organizers kindly that this seminar has to close.
Okay, I have to conclude. Yes, I have almost finished. So communication, and also we have seen that among general member and with the executive committee, there is poor communication. So in behavioral case, we have, when we have studied, we have seen so many things in case of transparency, in case of accountability, in case of internal communication, there is so poor points. And so in conclusion, we have seen that still, though 50 minutes, though 50 years have been gone after the construction of folder, but still in water management group, there is poor performance. So they are not ready to take the responsibility, participatory community water management, participatory community water management. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now all the speakers, they have given their presentation. Dr. Reddy, do you want to make some conclusive remark?
Just a minute, sir. Yes, I don't want to take much time because already we overran. I'm really pleased to see that a lot of expertise available in this country globally to take care of these issues. Okay, we have a bright future, I think. But this is a very important thing, coastal ecosystem management. I really thank all of you for coming here and sharing your expertise. I am really felt happy to be part of this session. I thank the chairman to talk about the closing remarks, please. Okay, don't take much time.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. You see, we had 7 presentations, 3 countries, and widely traveled persons to present, give a presentation here. I'll take 2 minutes to conclude this. In these 7 papers, adaptation, the management of agriculture system, adaptation is the key. Though mitigation and adaptation, these are the 2 methods, but in agriculture, it is essentially the adaptation that gets a priority. And we found that with the proper leadership, this can be overcome. Second, there are, in adaptation, there are a lot of, you can say, constraints.
Sir, we will ask the control room, please don't disturb us, control room.
Plenum lecture 1 and 2 লেখা আছে plenum lecture আপনি plenum lecture দিয়ে সলভ করুন ওই ফাইলতে
We are just closing for 1 minute, please.
second page তে আজকে আছে
Then the second paper on water storage and its effects on sedimentation upstream and downstream. We very much appreciate the presentation made by him, and this has a lot of message for us because we are also having a lot of coastal erosion and losing land. There are various estimates to that effect. Then Dr. Jana talked about the drainage in East Coast. The Eastern coast is flat. Very little difference between the sea and the land surface. Whereas the Western coast, the elevation from the sea surface is quite high. So they have different kinds of problem. They have problem of axial drainage, and they have problem of you can say low drainage density. And naturally, this requires some information. Then Thokal talked about micro irrigation and rubber dam, and it is standardized now that micro irrigation is going to be implemented in large scale. This has this, they call it three-win technology, three-way win-win technology. Buldela talked about drainage. Drainage is necessary to maintain the health of the soil. And for information of Dr. Gopal Krishnan, I will say everywhere in every country, irrigation from canal has been the major source of. It's not that canal water has salt, but it mobilizes salt, and if the groundwater is fine, that is not used. So throughout the world, this is the situation. Whether it's California, whether it's Spain, whether Peru, this is the situation that introduction of imported water creates this problem.
No, so I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's all right. Then. Yes, Mr. Dev Kumar, I'm very much impressed with this presentation because it is the governance that makes the technology work on a large scale. I was keen to know whether how the horizontal and vertical integration in the governance system has been introduced. Some other time I will have opportunity to interact with him. This is the governance is the weak link in all our management programs because rules are there, but the governance is poor. So this is very good. And with this, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to chair this session. I'm particularly happy that in spite of very limited staff, our center at Canning, and particularly under the leadership of Dr. Sen, is my old colleague, and we keep on discussing. Congratulations. I feel very tall with this association with SCAR, with which I have been associated, I think more than 4 decades now. Thank you very much, all the speakers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, very much for chairing this session. I would like to thank Professor Yella Reddy, sir, also for co-chairing this session, the rapporteurs and all the presenters and the attendees of this session. I thank you all from the behalf of the organizers. Now I would like to request you all to move to webinar room number 1, where the plenum lectures is going to start now. So there are 2 plenum lectures. Professor T.J. Flowers is one of the speaker, and the other is Dr. Michael Phillips. He is from the World Fish Organization. So we had sent the links to all the lectures in the form of a PDF file. So there in the second page, you will find the link to the plenum lectures. So all of you are requested to join there and attend the lectures. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All again. Bye, Marcos.
Bye.
Great, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sir, we'll meet. Jana, nice meeting, and all of you. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
ICID Congress will